Hey everyone, hope you guys are doing well. Raj from the UK here, and today I'm going to be doing a review on, well actually it's not a review, it's more of a first impressions video, and it is part of the Unknown Fragrance series. If you don't know what this series is about, it's basically me talking about fragrances which I've never heard of before, and brands which I've never heard of before, and it's all about me buying samples and trying to expand my knowledge of fragrances, and I thought I'd give you my thoughts on that. So today I'm going to be talking to you about a sample which I've actually bought. I bought this a few months ago, and I've completely worn it out now and finished it off today. It's from a company called Boadicea the Victorious, who at the time when I bought this sample I hadn't heard of them. I've now become a little bit more aware of the house, and the fragrance is called Seductive. The guy behind this fragrance house is Michael Boadi, who is also the guy behind another brand which I featured in my previous Unknown Fragrance video, and that brand is Illuminum. So he's now got two brands under his belt, and he started his career, or before going into fragrances, he was a hairdresser, and then he turned his hand to fragrances and has come out with a huge line of fragrances in the Boadicea the Victorious line. Definitely a house worth exploring. I've got about 4 or 5 samples. A very, very interesting house. This fragrance starts with notes of rosemary and fir and resins. Towards the middle and the base of the fragrance you will come across musk, ambergris, sandalwood, patchouli and jasmine. It's also described as a part gourmand, part sensual musk fragrance. I kind of really agree with the second part of that statement. It really is, seductive is definitely the right word, the right name given to this fragrance. It's very much a fragrance you would want to wear at a certain time of the day or a certain time of the night, if I'm honest. What I get from the opening of this fragrance is, and this is coming from the rosemary and the fir oils, it reminds me of an aromatherapy oil. Nothing too intense, but something which is quite different. You know, I don't think I've smelled anything like this in a fragrance before. I wouldn't describe it as a unique scent, but I've never smelt it before, and it kind of reminds me of pine as well. I've actually read that comment. When I first smelt this, I thought pine oil is coming to mind, and then after reading a few more comments, I'm not the only person who thinks that. So yeah, that's a very interesting top note there. But also in there, underlying that top note, and then which later develops in the heart of the fragrance, and this is for me the centerpiece of this fragrance, and it is this sweet, very sensual, musky scent. It's not a dirty musky scent. I wouldn't even describe it as very, very masculine. It's actually bordering on the feminine side. I don't think this is a feminine fragrance though. It kind of reminds me of a baby powder, but maybe less so baby powder, more like a labdanum type scent. Labdanum has that it does actually smell like baby powder sometimes, and it's really good. I mean, the heart of this fragrance is the standout section of this fragrance. It stays quite close to the skin. On my skin, it doesn't really project too much, but I don't think this is the type of fragrance you would want to project too much. I think this is something which you can enjoy on your own, or you and somebody else can enjoy this fragrance. As the fragrance develops later on, there is a slight floralness coming in there, but it's not obvious, to be honest. It's only a scent I pick up when you put your nose close to wherever you've applied the fragrance. You also get quite a soft, understated patchouli in there. Patchouli can be quite a strong fragrance, it can be a dominating scent, but this actually is quite toned down, and I think appropriately done, because anything too loud wouldn't make any sense, because the fragrance is quite a soft fragrance. It stays quite close to the skin and is not intended to be a loud fragrance. I think the idea of the word seductive is that you're kind of something slightly alluring there. You're drawing somebody in slowly. What I also get from this fragrance in terms of comparisons to other fragrances, it sort of reminds me of Paco Rabanne Pour Homme. Not in its entirety, but there are elements in that fragrance which, to be honest, I can't really put my finger on, but there are elements of that in this fragrance. What this fragrance really reminds me of is a much more toned down and a much more unisex version of Bruno Acampora's musk oil. I managed to get a sample of that off, I think it was the Perfumed Court. Actually, I got it off eBay and somebody had bought it from the Perfumed Court, and that's a much more louder musk, much more animalic musk compared to this one, which is and that Bruno Acampora's musk oil is a much more feminine version. So if you like that, but you want something a little bit more unisex, I think Boadicea the Victorious Seductive is the one to go for. I have a feeling I will probably buy this. It's not a cheap fragrance by any means. I think on the Lucky Scent website you're looking at around 100. I probably should have written this down, to be honest. I think it's about $175 for 50 ml. I think if you're living in Europe, you can probably get it for much cheaper than that. Sorry, I've actually forgotten to write down the price, but have a look. It's not too difficult to find. So definitely a house I want to get into. Very interesting. And that's my thoughts, first impressions, unknown fragrance series video. Thanks for watching. See you next time. Bye.